Hi everyone, I've been having a lot of dreams lately, and I am going to share last night's dream with you. So, I don't really remember, I don't think anything from the dream except for this one part of it. And it was pretty crazy. And I just paused my video at exactly 17 seconds, which was not intentional, but 17 is the number God's been showing me constantly everywhere. But, anyways, it really wouldn't help you guys because you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But in my dream, the location of this house was somewhat specific. It was a house like in an area nearby, somewhat near behind my house. I get into this part in detail later, but the house was numbered 715, which is extremely significant. And it was really strange because this house, you could easily walk inside. Like anyone, just anywhere could just, if they see the house, they could just walk right in if they wanted. And it was like a very tiny house. Like it literally only had like one or two rooms. Like it was almost like a garage, basically, but it was a house. But it was missing like a there was no like garage door. It was missing at least like one of the entire walls. So like it was just this huge like open gap, and so anyone could just walk right in, and no one was home. And I mean, I don't even know if anyone lived there, or what was going on with that. Like it was very strange. And I forget why I walked in, but it was unlike any of the other houses being so exposed. And there was like a bed and a TV, maybe a fireplace, a dresser, normal stuff like that. Not much in there, but just basic stuff, I guess. And like the only thing you could actually take, the only like loose item essentially in the whole room was a gun. I want to say it was a shotgun, just casually sitting up on this mantle on top of either like a dresser or a fireplace, which was crazy because, like, again, anyone could just walk in and grab it. And I remember doing just that. I picked it up and I was like holding it, examining it, and like, I think I even like opened it, like how shotguns open, like where they like open in half, where you could like see if it was loaded, I guess. And it probably was. I think it was, but of course it wasn't mine, and this wasn't even my house. I didn't know who lived there or if anyone still lived there, but I didn't want to get caught being in there and looking around. So after just a brief moment or two of looking at the gun, I put it back. I set it either where it was, like how it was setting, or at least similar before I touched it, because I couldn't remember exactly how it was sitting there. So I set it down back on the shelf and walked out. And looking at the one of the corners of the house, like on this wooden beam, um, I was walking out and I had noticed the number of the house was written there, 715. And I believe, if I'm remembering right, this was a yellow house, which, if it was, I think it was, which is super significant, as yellow, from what I can tell from another dream I've had and from what others have seen in their dreams, yellow seems to symbolize God, or has to do with God in some way. Because in my water volcano dream, you can see it in my pinned videos, I had realized the big kind man wearing yellow symbolized God. And someone else who had heard my dream on Facebook told me, that hearing my dream about how that man in yellow symbolized God, it helped them realize something about their dream. How like it suddenly made a lot more sense to them. Like I forget exactly how that went, but there was something yellow in their dream. I don't know if it was like a yellow flower or flowers or something. But anyways, after walking out of the house and spotting that the number was 715, really set off some bells in my head. I forget if I realized that while that moment happened, while I was dreaming, or if like I realized that after waking up. But like 715 was, it's huge because that is a very personal number to me, because God gave me that in a different rapture dream. I don't even know if the dream I'm talking about now that I had last night is even a rapture dream. I don't know. But, um, yeah, several months ago, I had a different rapture dream where in that dream, my old fifth grade science teacher said to me, Christopher, I have one last assignment for you. I want you to write down the number or numbers 715. And then I woke up. So, whatever this house, without, not having all of the walls where anyone could just walk into, whether they were supposed to, whether they were allowed to or not, I wasn't sure. Whatever this house represented in my dream, I'm not sure if I know for sure. But all the random, strange, out of place details, like it basically being so small, like one room, and like any random person can just walk right in, feels so incredibly symbolic. Another detail I want to say, I feel like the floor, I think it was cement, if I'm remembering that right, which makes, if it was, I feel like that is telling that this house being where anyone could just walk in was intentional, that it was made that way. As like if it had a carpet in there, it would probably get ruined with all the rain, outdoor elements that would surely get to it, right? So, despite being able to just walk directly in there, all the regular houses, yeah, no, yeah, let me try that again. This house, despite there being like a huge open wall there, it still had some regular house doors in there too, which were all unlocked. You could just open them right up and go in. And again, for anyone who wants to, which I remember doing that. I opened like a bunch of doors in there, at least two or three, but because it was a small place, there couldn't have been too many. But yeah, either during or after the dream, I think after, it had reminded me of the verse in Revelation, because I was opening doors. It reminded me of, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock." But yeah, it made me think maybe it symbolized, with this house being yellow, maybe it was symbolizing God or God's house, and why you can just walk, anyone can just walk right in. Maybe it's symbolizing that anyone is welcome in God's house, anyone who chooses to walk in, which is intentional and by design. And I'm not sure, well, I wasn't sure what the gun symbolized, but I would assume something to do with life or death. And it was the only object in the whole house where you have the option to pick it up and choose what you want to do with it. And I told my friends this dream, and one of them said, "To me, that sounds like it's representing free will." So when you think about it, what happened in this dream, like, that makes a lot of sense, right? So I think that's probably what that means. One thing this dream made me think again, either in the moment when I read the 715 on the house or after waking up, was I was like, clearly that must be a connection to my other dream. So God's using that in this dream to tell me something, referring to that one. In that one, it was saying 715 was my last assignment, and I still don't know for sure if I know what that means. I think it just means to, I was saying it probably means just to tell people my dreams because of Amos 7:15, but I'm still not positive on that. But I had to consider the possibility if maybe God is saying my last assignment is to buy my own house because I don't have my own house. I don't know. And another reason I believe this is definitely from God is because I had dreamt that and then woke up and I was way too tired to even open my eyes, so I fell back asleep. And then when I woke up again, I still only remembered that part of my dream and I forgot all the rest of it. So when you remember something, it might be from God. All right, I'm out of time. God bless you.